and we're at Aldo Scribante, Port Elizabeth, South Africa. Welcome to the Bridgestone production cars.
Presented by Bridgestone. On this show, it's all the action from round number 3 of the Bridgestone production cars, featuring classes A and T at the Aldo Scribante circuit. For more information on Bridgestone production car racing, log on to www.spcc.co.za. Bridgestone production cars Class A features cars from 3 manufacturers: Audi with their S4, BMW with their 335i in the F30 and older E90 model, and Subaru in their brand new WRX STI. In the Class T, there are representations from 5 manufacturers: VW, Ford, Mini, Chevrolet, and Renault.
Coming into round 3 in Port Elizabeth, many of the teams travel far and wide to this coastal circuit. Let's go behind the scenes to not only show you world-class racing, but also the world-class operation behind Bridgestone production cars. As far as the rules go, there's been a change with regards to starting procedures.
Standing starts have resulted in the loss of a couple of cars at the start of races and cost a couple of teams quite a lot of money, apart from reducing the field. And we've decided to not have standing starts for the immediate future and employ rolling starts only.
As well as preparations go for the event, there have been numerous track inspections and time-consuming planning to make sure each competitor in the Super Series has a pit allocated to them and have been entered into the day's racing. Timing equipment is supplied by ZA Timing.
Each car has got a transponder on. Every time they cross the start-finish line, that time is recorded onto our system and uploaded directly to the internet, so anyone anywhere in the world can pick up that time live as it happens.
Bridgestone hosts the tire support at the event and provide the competitors with the much needed knowledge and equipment to get the most out of these specially designed rubber compounds. Officials need to be briefed and have all the relevant training to make sure that safety is of the utmost importance. After all, this is motor racing, which means high speed, extreme temperatures, and possible collisions. Every care must be taken to provide professional support if and when it's needed.
In terms of safety in the modern world and the requirements, in motorsport we always strive to make things as safe as we can for the participants and the crowds. Here at Aldo Scribante circuit, in the past we've had 1 or 2 incidents, and we've changed things for this race meeting and introduced some more equipment to fight fires and other things, and it will result in potentially a safer ride for all the drivers and better rescue methods if unfortunate incidents do happen.
Sasol contributes to the fuel for most of the teams, and this specially formulated racing fuel has been designed to bring the peak performance out of each engine. The logistics involved to bring each team to the event begins weeks before racing starts. Most teams travel from across South Africa, bringing the full might of their team's arsenal with them.
800 litres racing fuel, 40 tonnes of equipment, 2,000 litres of diesel to get us here to PE this weekend. It's a logistics nightmare getting a team to an away race. We prepared weeks in advance to make sure that we get here safely and to ensure that all of our equipment and our staff is looked after. Lunch, dinner, breakfast, all of that has to be considered as well. Afrox has a clean service record when it comes to safety, and it is our responsibility to ensure that our team gets here safely. EPS Career Services does a fantastic job of that.
And between events, testing and development continues.
Well, you know, we had a great race in Cape Town. Janelle did very well and won the feature race, but unfortunately this never stops. The development between races has got to continue. We did a big shakedown earlier in the week before PE to make sure we're ready for this race. Unfortunately, they dropped our booth, so further development has to happen to ensure that we win. So this is a never-ending development story, and in Bridgestone production cars, if you're not developing, you're not winning.
Team Castrol Mini have upgraded to new power plants as promised at round 2 in Cape Town.
The Mini Cooper, as John Cooper works, features a brand new engine with variable valve timing. The N18, as it's now called, brings a wonderful dimension to our team, including bottom-end power that we've been backing with so far this season. This new engine and its new software from Motec will certainly help us challenge the bigger engine cars this season.
2 new beauties from Ford are making their debut in Aldo Scribante. Here's Vaughan Williams.
Yes, here we are with the new Fords, new Ford Focus EcoBoost STs. It's our first time out. We've done a little bit of testing between 6 and 10 laps at Swartkops. We have no idea what's going to happen down here at the coast, but we're looking forward to a good outing.
PE being the hometown of Volkswagen, General Motors and the home track of the Engine Extreme Audi team, confidence is at no shortage.
PE is our home track. It's a really great advantage for us. The Audi S4 is absolutely fantastic around here. And being at home, you know, we've got the confidence to come here and, you know, set quick lap times from the word go. Being the home track, we've got the support of everyone here. And also, you know, that little bit more knowledge that everyone else has from testing and doing a few more laps than them. So looking forward to a great weekend.
Welcome, guys. Down in Volkswagen's hometown, Port Elizabeth. We're down here to try and show how good these GTRs are going to be today. This is where Volkswagen originates from, and we're going to go and do our best to prove that they are the best brand here.
All right, we've come back from Cape Town, and the Chevy Cruze seems to be running pretty well after our first win of the season. And we're kind of happy with the way things have gone, but you know, we're on the back foot with the Cruze at this stage with the Old Devil motor. The new engine we're hoping to have at Swartkops, but it might be a little bit tight for us to get everything done.
Each circuit has different characteristics, and the engineers have to adjust their race cars accordingly. The Mueller Sports Medicine Audi team had this to say.
Yeah, the Aldo Scribante circuit, 2.48 kilometers long. A very abrasive circuit, hard on the tires, but really properly suited to the Audi S4 and its characteristics. The four-wheel drive, the quattro system really looks up and really hooks up on the circuit. And I think Melville is looking forward to a very strong race weekend. Didn't have the best of lucks when we were driving for the BMW 335 cars, but I think the Audi really is going to turn his fortunes around at Aldo Scribante.
And race boss Carl Pinar knows where to draw the most performance out of the Subaru WRX STI.
The Aldo Scribante track for us, you know, is a schizophrenic track. We have a long straight. We have a Subaru is not performing that well, but luckily for us, we have a back section where we have a lot of corners. It's a really handling track, and the Subaru is performing very well there.
Teams come fully prepared to an event, but things do go wrong, sometimes with hours to spare.
Well, we all came ready yesterday for a really great weekend, only to find out that with the gearbox element giving us a little bit of trouble, the bolt came loose. We've got over it. We've come out first and fastest in the third session, so we'll see how it holds for today.
With Robertson still looking for his debut win in the Renault Megane, let's hope his team have turned all the right screws to get him back on pace. And lastly, it's not just the competitors that make the trek to the coast. There's also a vast host of media, including journalists, photographers, commentators and television crews. This group of professionals bring you world-class racing each round to the highest standards and make sure you don't miss a single moment of the action. These are just some of the behind-the-scenes facts in staging a national motorsport event. Many more hours are put in by the circuit to accommodate teams, officials, and the large number of fans who attend. So next time we come to your town, make sure you get your tickets and bring the whole family to support the Bridgestone Production Car Championship.
This is awesome! Hello!
came to qualifying, the Audis were firing straight out the blocks. Hometown hero Chopsapuka qualifying in a high 5th place. Henny Groenewald and the Subaru coming on strong in 4th. Melville Priest, though, stepping up and qualifying a high 3rd place, just behind championship favourite Johan Fourie. But the fastest out there, and it was no surprise to see Michael Stephen topping the timing sheets.
2 classes out there, Class A and Class T, but right now I'll focus on qualifying for Class T, and would the Renault Megane do some stuff with Devin Robinson? Also looking for a good result, Graham Nathan. His stablemate, the young Stiglitz, Jacques Chabert, looking for good qualifying times. And Gavin Cronier in the Mini, also setting down a marker. But the man who was on form, Michael van Rooyen in the Chevrolet Cruze.
This is how it was looking. The front row is all about Michael Stephen and Johan Fourie, the guys going for this championship. Melville Priest, Henny Groenewald tagging along.
On the next row, Chopsapuka in the Audi, and then Etienne van Glende in the BMW.
Gennaro Bonafide coming strong. It's a good track for the Audis. Pinard will be on his wheel.
Let's have a look at Class T in the front row. Michael van Rooyen setting down the marker. Alongside him, Gavin Cronier.
Both of the Indy Oil GTIs heading up row number 2, followed by Devin Robertson, trying to find form in the Megane, and Lee Thompson.
And finally, the debut of the Fords, Gary Formato, Sean Duminy.
Mikey, in from another oh-so-tight qualifying. You and that BMW are going to be all over each other all day. I can see it.
Yeah, it was certainly close. I think 5,000ths of a second cover myself and Johan. Fortunately, we got the upper hand, and yeah, it should lead to a good race.
Now, what is your feature? Because, I mean, we're looking at you coming good in the long races, the short races. Today, you pretty much got to clean everything.
Yeah, you know, home track advantage. We're going to look to go out there, race 1, and try and win that from pole. And then the reverse grid's always a bit dicey. You know, obviously you want to come through and get to the front. But, you know, a little bit of compromise in that race to make sure we get to the end. And then, yeah, the feature race, you know, 16 laps here, tyre wear's a little bit of a problem. But on our Audi S4, it's absolutely fantastic. So we'll be hoping to go for that win.
Yeah, and it seems like the further we get into this championship, the closer the qualifying times become. 2nd place today by absolutely nothing, 5,000ths.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. Yesterday was a little bit more difficult than we expected. I actually came here and thought we're not going to be too bad, but just seems like we didn't get any traction and we didn't get any grip on the back at all. But this morning, the BMW, the Afrox BMW Pertec were performing absolutely beautiful. So I think we were very close, but unfortunately just missed out on the pole.
Michael, just in from qualifying and another nail-biter in the Class Ts. This time it's the Mini on you.
Yes, it's very close, but we're on the right end of the field, so we don't mind. We were very strong in qualifying, we knew that, but the longer races are going to be tougher, so we'll see what we can do with the setup, and so we can be strong in the race.
Gav, when I talked to you this morning, you were worried about the pace of the Minis, but obviously it's come together in qualifying, 2nd place, but like you say, the wrong side of pole.
Yeah, the wrong side of close. Look, we're happy with the position. I think we've got good race pace. Our qualifying pace we were always a bit sceptical about, but we never ran new tyres yesterday, and obviously our tyres were older than the rest, so it came together for us with the new tyres.
On the back foot as far as the Chevy Cruze goes, but you know, Cape Town showed that thing is going to be strong for the rest of the year, and it's going to be a very hard fight, like you say, especially in a straight line down the big straight.
Yeah, look, I mean, we know what he's got good pace. We know where their strengths are, and we know where their weaknesses are. So we know what we need to do. Like I said, we've got good race pace. So I've got some tricks up my sleeve, and let's see what happens.
We all know he's a magician at times, young Gavin Cronier. We know he can pedal, but right now our attention turns to race number 1, and it's the sprint race, Matt, and really the car's looking good.
And the rolling start plays into the hands of the BMW. We know the track is an Audi track. It is so good and so tight around the back, but down the straight, the BMW has been lightning fast, but the drop and the reaction comes from Michael Stephen. And he's on the inside of the track. He's going to be controlling it going into turn number 1. Fourie has to slot in behind.
So one of the key factors of Aldo Scribante is the abrasiveness of the track, and wear and tear on tyres. Obviously, setup is absolutely key.
Yeah, because it's a sprint race as well, the tyres, they're just going to be throwing caution to the wind. Chopsapuka is going to be pushing as hard as he can. He was frustrated with his qualifier. He said he should have thrown down a hotter lap. He feels like he's going to get held up in traffic.
Wow, look at this. Already Class T has made its way up to the back end of Class A, so this is a really tight bunch.
Yeah, they've been doing that this whole season since they've been bunching them together. The leader in the Class T's always hangs on to the back of the A's, and we go into the A's. See, Etienne van der Linde also battled with a lot of understeer during this qualifying and setup, and we go on board with Gennaro Bonafide as they come out, and through the sweeper gets forced all the way to the dirty stuff, and you can see he had to come out of that one forced offline. There's nothing you can do but back out of it. But look out front into his front window. Etienne van der Linde, those problems with understeer, he's getting them early.
All right, into Dunlop Corner we go, and of course we'll be shortly completing lap number 1. BMWs are ready to pounce, but not quite there at the moment. On board with Jacques Joubert, the young Stiglet. He'll want to have an impressive round, particularly once to get back on the podium. He's looking good at the moment.
Running in third place, he's going to be up there. You can see the gap is starting to separate between the faster Class A's and the Class T's. That gap, to be honest, Steve, only opens up down the big straight. Through the back section, the T's can match most of the A's.
Absolutely. I mean, it's really a tight circuit. It's not the longest one that we go to on tour. Back on board with Gennaro Bonafide in the Ferrota Racing Audi S4, and he'll be looking for a great result and starting to get a little closer to van der Linde. Looks like van der Linde's just off the pace a little bit.
Yeah, he really is battling Chopsapuka as well, putting a wheel on the dirt there, causing some issues and spraying up the guys. But the top 3 are breaking away, and Ferrari's in trouble because here comes Melville Priest. Priest has had an incredible setup the whole way through the weekend, and you can see the BMW really working hard. They've had massive handling problems the whole way through setup.
Yeah, a little touch there, and of course Rubbing is racing, but Priest and Ferrari, and a gentlemanly conduct is the order of the day. Oh, look at that, he turns right back in, he gets a great drive.
Now we're going to see the difference between power. I mean, down the straight, the BMW has been a rocket ship, so Melville Priest has obviously got the beating of the BMW down the back section, but all the while, look at Michael Stephen, he's just stretching it away. He's got the most consistent setup on the car. He said it's not the fastest down the straight, but it is rocketing through the back section.
So the danger signs for Ferrari right now, complaining about the handling of the setup of the car, and right now bringing pressure to bear is Melville Priest. And how long can Ferrari keep him off his back at the moment? There's a nice shot again. You see how close it is.
But if you watch what's happening as well, Henny Groenewald is joining the party. The Mini has now come on. So Gavin Cornier saying he had some tricks up his sleeve. He was talking about setting up the car for the big race, the feature race at the end of the day. But the Mini looks like it's got some pace in the sprints as well.
With all due respect, can you afford to throw away a 20-pointer?
Certainly can't, but look at the Mini climbing the curbs inside and out. He wants to get through, and Jacques Joubert is going to be climbing those curbs pretty soon as well to make a move. But, you know, we need to start talking about the Fords as well. Their debut, only for Motto out there because in qualifying, an injury within the car, and Duminy is out. He's not going to be competing the rest of the day.
So great shots right at the moment of Class T, and Devin Robinson's, you know, starting to actually make some ground on that Mini, but that's not the one of Garen Crabtree, it's Lee Thompson.
And if you notice as well, there's no Nathan, so Nathan qualifying 4th. And he is out of shot right now, meaning he is going to be throwing away a ton of points. And he's giving them all to Formoto. Formoto, even though he's having a bad run at the back of the pack, he's taking points away from Nathan.
Need to find out maybe what that injury was from Sean Duminy. Very bizarre indeed. And making their debut, you would have expected a really good team performance from both. Oh, look at that great move. That is Gavin Cronier on Michael van Rooyen.
And that's what the Mini's kind of been famous for. Mid-corner, it can make the adjustment and get itself in there. And it was a full block as well. You could see the Chevy Cruze had to come off the power, and all of a sudden Jacques Joubert is going to be right in the mix, but he isn't on line. He's going to be forced on the outside, and we come into a right-hander hairpin, which means the GTI has to go the long way around. So, I mean, that was a big, long block. The Chevy Cruze is not over yet as well.
No, of course not. And I mean, you know, we've known Michael van Rooyen as being Mr. Nice Guy.
Here we go. This is going to be a move through the sweep. You can control that inside line, and it is an ugly pass, but it gets done.
Michael van Rooyen's wondering to himself right now, he was in the lead, and now he's in 3rd.
Yeah, and he seems to be battling as well, falling off the pace. He's going to come under pressure from Lee Thompson, who has also been battling. But remember, the Minis down at Cape Town, round number 2, they're all running new engines, so that bodes well, and Thompson is hoping to springboard his championship from this event.
Well, although they've got new engines in there, they've had some ambient problems with heat, and it's been one of the issues that the Castle Mini's been going through. Great shot right now. Devin Robertson, where's that pace come from?
And it's right at the top end as well, but he's outbraked himself, and so has Gavin Cornier. Gavin Cornier climbing the curb, so all of a sudden we've got a change up. Everything has blown apart at the front of Class T. It's Jacques Joubert that leads things out.
So Michael van Rooyen will have to chase. Now here's a nice shot through that sweep right now, and of course the great line it is on the inside for Ree, and Melville Priest right now is making a charge.
How on earth he got that line going? That was amazing. To get that drive through the inside, it's only the Quattro that can actually make that one count. And finally Melville Priest hits the front, but look up the inside, and it's going to be a horsepower drag. If Ferrari can get the drive, he's going to take that place back. Oh, the Mini in the background. Cronier all over it.
Where's he going? That's the big question. Where's he going?
Oh, way off is where he's going. He's not going to be able to recover from that. So a possible win in the Mini. And I'll tell you what, Gavin Cronje is going to be kicking himself from that one. This field is now blown apart. It's Jacques Joubert that leads things out. Michael van Rooyen, who at the time was down in third place, now back into second.
Priest finally makes that move on Johan Ferrari. Finally gets through and will start to maybe increase that distance, because I don't think Johan Ferrari, with the setup issues, will be able to come back. That's our first shot of the Subaru and Henrik Grunewald.
Yeah, you know, in qualifying, Melville Priest showed that he was third fastest. He could have possibly run the pace of Stephen, but he has obviously been held up by the BM.
Nice one for Jacques Joubert right now. Can he hold on? He's being chased down by Michael van Rooyen in that Chevy Cruze, and there's Gavin Cronje. Well, look at that. Fantastic. Straight past Jacques Joubert. Must have missed a gear.
Yeah, that was terrible. I mean, he just gave away 2 positions out of thin air. But what about Gavin Cronje? Having those problems a couple of laps back, has fought back and found pace. I think he must have been helped out by the problems that Jacques Joubert is obviously having, because Jacques is dropping out of this one.
Well, I mean, you said the Middy's focus was going to be on the long haul, the theme piece, and right now this is going to be some great points. But Michael van Rooyen will be ecstatic if he can hold on. In the Dunlop corner, Gavin has a look on the outside. There's no ways past there.
Look in the background as well. What's changed up? Formato, who was at the back of the pack all day long, is now going to take over third place as Jacques Joubert drops out of this one. And Jacques is going to have to do very well. He's got to limp around this track for one more lap just to tag some kind of points.
Wow, look at this. The straight line speed of Michael van Rooyen, and he's weaving across the track, and Gavin Cronje is on his tail. Look at the sticklet. This is really disappointing for him.
Yeah, unfortunately, Indy Oil GTIs looked like Jacques Joubert was going to take a win at one point in this race. You can see him looking down. He's got problems with the clutch or the gear system, but also spare a thought for Nathan. Nathan's going to score nothing in this one.
So the Afrox BMW right now still in a pretty good position with Johan Ferrari, and if he does have setup problems, let me tell you, he's driving that car very well, irrespective.
Yeah, he was able to survive and throw down a really good qualifier lap that put him on the front row and allowed him to, the word survive out there, because he has dropped off the pace and unfortunately taken Melville Priest most of the race with him. Michael Stephen, though, converting the pole position into an incredible flag-to-flag victory. So we know how good he is around this track, and he will be looking to be the first driver on the season in Bridgestone Production Cars Class A to do the triple on the day.
Well done to Melville Priest, a second, and behind him, a man who was giving him a hard time, Johan Ferrari in the Afrox Pertec BMW. So well done, Michael Stephen. After all, it is their home track. Let's bring it home the tees right now. Oh, nice little move on the outside. Not enough. Michael van Rooyen could win this.
Yeah, it's quite a late flag on this straight as well, so it is all about straight line speed. The Mini suffering understeer there, could not get the drive down, but it's still a good drag race, and the Chevy Cruze wins this one out. But will it be that way at the end of the day? We know the Chevy Cruze is good at the sprints.
Also, an element of luck. We have the pending draw, our inverted grid, so we'll have to wait and see what happens for race number 2.
A nice turn-up and plenty of drama to look forward to for the rest of the day. But confirmation of Michael Stephen in the Engine Extreme Audi. He is looking dialed in today.
Michael van Rooyen doing the same thing. It'd be nice to get a win under their belt. A good way to start the day. Let's get confirmation of those results in race number 1, Class A. Michael Stephen, Melville Priest, Johan Ferrari, and Henrik Grunewald.
Yeah, Chop Sapuka at the back of that in 5th. Still a little bit frustrated, but we'll have to see what he can do in the big race. Gennaro Bonafide ahead of Van der Linde and Pinot.
Confirmation of Class T results, and it was a dandy out there also with the debut of the Fords. Michael van Rooyen wins it. Gavin Cronje in the Mini. Gary Formato on the debut, and Devin Robertson.
Michael, a well-controlled race. Really, what I've got to ask you is, how was the car feeling? Can she get better?
The car was fantastic. Got a gap in the first lap, and then from there on, just controlled the pace to the end. Car didn't miss a beat, and yeah, we look forward to the next one. Maybe we have to push a bit more in the reverse grid. But I think we got what it takes.
Michael leading, then second, then third, then back to first place. There was a lot going on in just that short race.
It was. It felt like a longer race, but it was eventful, some rubbing, and some good luck on our side. So, but whichever way, we'll take the win. We're very glad.
Gav, what was the story there? I mean, suddenly you're in the lead, and then suddenly you're off the track.
Yeah, maybe just getting a bit beyond myself. Just braked very late into turn 1. ABS pumped the pedal up and ran wide, so let the guys back through, just making my life hard. But managed to come back down, through to second, and fighting for the win right at the end there. And I think that's, it's good for us and good for the points.
Yes, it is. And on to the action of race number 2. Also 8 laps in a sprint race. Also counts 10 points, Matt.
And an 8-driver inversion as well. So that sees Gennaro Bonafide at the front. He has struggled with pace. He didn't have the best qualifier, but he started to come on song. And he said to me after the first race, they figured something out. So let's see if he can figure it out to the tune of going ahead and taking a win.
As long as we don't have to call him Einstein.
Yeah, he's quite good at doing some maths out there. But the story is, coming in from heat number 1, the problems that the BMWs were having. We could see that Fourie and Etienne van der Linde really battling.
On board with Gavin Cronje. Oh, my word, a touch. I think Michael got a touch on that. Was that Nathan?
I think it was. I just saw a flash of 21 as the car went sideways, and it's a big man to survive a flick like that, because thankfully there's some big runoff here at PE.
You see, also what's great about technology as well, Matt, is the fact that these guys have got front-end cameras and back-end cameras, and it's advantageous for the controllers to be able to make decisions on who did something naughty.
And check this out in the background here. You can see they're just leaning on each other. Nathan tries to just force his way through, and Van Rooyen, I think he actually backed out of that one, and Nathan had nowhere to go but go and survive. What that set up as well at the front end of Class T is that there's a chance of the Renault coming through. But right now, Gennaro Bonafide and Chops Sapuka, and Chops is so good at the second race. It seems to take him a while to warm up, doesn't it?
Well, also the same with Gennaro Bonafide. We've seen both of these start from the front. Very, very difficult. Both of them, Gennaro and Chops Sapuka, very difficult to pass.
So we go back and we pick up on Jacques Joubert, running second at the moment in Class T's, looking at the back end of the Megane. This is the first time the Megane has been out front, and they are closing things down in the early stages on the second Subaru. That will be Pinot.
Interesting stuff. We spoke about development earlier on with Devon Robertson, and we were wondering when that Megane is finally going to be, because we know it's quick.
Yeah, it's just been so hard. They've done more time in the workshop than they have on the track right now. We go back and pick up on how tight the action is, and tap, tap, taparoo. Here we go. Chops Sapuka just trying to find and make a line through.
Yeah, it's not tap, tap Makatini. That is Chops Sapuka. Gennaro Bonafide. What a great view. And here comes Chops. Just behind him, looks like one of the BMWs.
Remember, these guys didn't have the best qualifier, so they'll have been doing a lot of more extra homework in the first heat to try and dial their cars in a little bit more. Look how tight things are going to be here. Also, the same story with dialing the car in. And what I mean by that is finding the problems and making them right going forward to develop through the race day.
No, I quite agree with you as well. But also, the mindset of these racing drivers has changed over the last 2 seasons. It was all about the win. Right now, it's about consistency for a championship.
You know, last year down the straight, as we go on board with Gary Formato, the Ford was the fastest in a straight line, and this time, it's fast in a straight line, but look at the problems he's having trying to get that thing under control into braking.
This is such a really tragic story for both the team, and we waited so long to see them.
One of the minis that had a problem there, Thompson, he overshot it going into turn number 1, and that's going to change the face of the chase group now, because that has suddenly bunched everything up.
And coming back to our story on the Fords, tragic, as I said, for Sean Duminy, who had an injury, and one was looking forward to this great debut, that they were going to come to Port Elizabeth and really rock the house. But we've got some more information, haven't we, Matt, on the injury to Sean Duminy?
Yeah, very freak injury. Normally you expect something to happen from a crash, but it was in qualifying. Sean Duminy snapping his Achilles tendon. That's pretty sore out there, and obviously not being able to operate his left foot after that.
Snapped the Achilles.
Yeah, not fun.
Wow. Back on board, and our focus on the Mini Cronje, and just ahead of him is Lee Thompson. And Lee hasn't had it all his own way. After all, the last 2 rounds have been disappointing for him.
Yeah, he really has come here just trying to do a lot of development. He works with the team hand in hand, trying to figure the car out. But yeah, to throw away 2 rounds on a season is a pretty hard pill to swallow early on.
Michael van Rooyen's got a win under his belt at the moment that will bode well for the team. There will be a static, and he will come charging. But I think his focus will also be on that 20 points in the last one.
Look at Thompson.
Side by side.
Thompson, once again, he looked like he was blocking, and it's that same switch up mid-corner apex, and it allows Gavin Cronje to slide his way through. He was getting held up by Thompson. You're going to see this gap stretch out now. So Cronje now gets himself up into 3rd place. We go back to the front of Class A, and it's still Gennaro Bonafide holding off Chops Sapuka. But watch how deep and hard into the corners Chops goes.
The home of the Audi S4. Well, it is with Team Engine Extreme. Bonafide having to defend. Oh, look at Chops having a look on the inside. Has he given him too much room? A bang, and off goes Bonafide.
Yeah, and this is where you need the quattro power. So the line was left slightly open, and Bonafide got tagged, corner pocket, as they say, and sent off track. That has changed everything up. It was a slow corner as well. so Chops didn't benefit and get through and break away. That's allowed everyone else to close things up.
Man, what a skill set, and he saved that, and he still kept the car going. But I'll tell you what, he's going to be really annoyed. I thought that was unnecessary.
Oh, look at Priest as well. Look at Priest. He was really out of shape there, coming through and trying to get the drive out. Here's a replay. There's Chops Apuka, climbs up the curb ever so slightly to get the line up the inside and sends Gennaro mid-corner. There was no way of coming back online there.
No, I just think that he misjudged
the back end's gone. The back end of Gennaro's car came out. Chops was online. Yes, climbing the curbs ever so slightly, but pretty much online. And when he got there, Gennaro was trying to come back onto his normal line and got sent.
Yeah, I still feel that Bonafide with the all-wheel drive, I mean, those wheels were churning. He was gashy, just changed the steering, got back online, and made his point through the corner. I think Chops was just a bit too eager.
Yeah, he did climb in a little deep, but we'll leave that up to someone else who can make that decision. What it has done in reality and on paper, we've got Chops Apuka leading the race out, and all of a sudden, a BMW has clawed through up into second place. That is a stellar drive.
Yes, what a crab it is. Just clawed through. Fantastic stuff. There's Bonafide. He'll be charging hard. He might be a bit annoyed at the moment.
Now look at Fari though. Fari is looking at a really good, solid start to his day. Ooh, the front end situations there again. I think Chops is starting to play the blocking role. He's coming off the power at weird situations on the track and bunching things up.
All right, let's have a look at this right now because it's really important. Okay, we've got to focus on Class T and we'll go through though. But in that background in Class A, watch Melville Priest. Big points again.
Yeah, the story here though, what we're watching on screen is the first time that clear air has been in front of the Renault Megane. So much development on the liquid molding machine, so much time spent in the workshops, and Devin Robertson is literally hanging onto this one by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, I don't want to sound biased at all because we can't afford to do that, but go Devin. Yeah. Nice to see him get it under his belt.
From a manufacturer's point of view, just good to keep the mix going. For the last couple of seasons, it's been all about the Golf GTIs and the Ford STs. Yes, the Minis have come on strong every now and again, but this is a lone driver team. And it would be nice to see all that work come to fruition and get the win done.
Wow, through the sweep, and Devin Robertson managed to just hold on. Look at, he's running wide.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, what a save. Can he save it?
He ran him all the way wide. That was a long way offline to hang on to that, so it's going to be up to Devin Robertson to say he either lost the front end or he moved the driver out, but Jacques Joubert was sent out into the dirty stuff.
Now, you're talking about the dirty stuff, man. Those bumps that he was going through, it might not seem very, very serious, but it does do some damage to the setup and suspension.
Okay, so Jacques Joubert out of the picture, sent to the back of the class, and he's going to be in detention for the rest of the day. You can see that he's not going to be happy about that move. But what we're talking about now is Devin Robertson coming under fire by someone else. Did you see the back of the Mini?
Yes, I saw it.
The pipes are hanging out of the Mini. Gavin Cronier is driving the exhaust pipes off that thing.
Brilliant. Class A focus. Here comes Melvin again. Oh, Stevens giving him a nudge. Can't get it in there. Wow, that was brilliant driving. But the front two, now this is what Melville is chasing down right now because he knows he scored a really good result in race number 1 and he's on the money for more points.
Yeah, he is. He's going to get 2 third places to start his day off. Michael Stephen isn't going to get the perfect day being 3 wins, of course, but his teammate is backing up the result from heat number 1. 2 Engine Extreme Audis have taken both victories to start the day off, and Chops Apuka's wiggle there tells you he is a happy man, and backing up his reputation as being a Race 2 pro.
King of the inverted grid. Absolutely. Could this be the debut win for the Renault Megane? Finally awaited. It's only taken him only 3 rounds, but this could be the first one.
One more corner, backs up Cronier. Cronier couldn't get the drive, so yes, it is, to answer your question, Steve, the first flag of the season and of the new build for the Renault Megane as the tailpipes of the Mini in second place go tearing off as he crosses the line. Cronier backs up another great result in Heat 1 with another second place.
Finally, another manufacturer gets in the mix.
Chops Apuka, remember, this is his hometown. He's got a lot of fans out there, so when he takes the win, he gets the big applause.
Schumi style.
He likes it up there. The crowd love him, and I'll tell you what, this will just hype him up going into the feature race.
He is ecstatic and gets very emotional when he does really well, but this will probably be the second win that he's had in this brand new S4 Audi. Well done, Chops Apuka and Team Engine Extreme. So there's confirmation. Johan Fari in second, Melville Priest in third, and Michael Stephen in fourth.
Watch out for Bonafide, though, 5th place, and he won't be happy with that. Van der Linde battling today, and then Pinard, the only Subaru finishing. Henny Groenewold not even lining up in that race.
Confirmation of race results. It is a debut win for Megane. Devin Robinson, well done. Gavin Cronier second, Jacques Joubert third.
Chops
Yes, the racing has got frantic here at Port Elizabeth. We know it's tight. We know it's hard on cars, braking and everything, and you've got to push your way through sometimes. Tell me about that pass on Gennaro.
Oh, well, that pass on Gennaro, I think, was pretty obvious. You know, he lost it going into the corner. He went sideways. I went into the inside, and in trying to collect the car, he came across and we touched. And it was bound to happen if you don't really judge where the other car is at that point in time. But yeah, you know, it is what it is. But we'll take it as it comes.
Yeah, and after the first sprint race, you were complaining that the back end of your car was all over the place. Well, it doesn't seem to matter because you can drive around that.
Yeah, loses fast, but not really. But yeah, no, we try to manage it. We try to keep the car going in the right direction. And luckily, we made our positions from fourth on the grid. So we finished second. I'll take it any day. It's points in the bag, like I said. And we need to finish all the races. And the bonus, of course, is we saved our tyres, a brand new set or 3-lap old set of tyres for the final race. So I'm looking forward to that. I believe Michael ran new tyres now in his second race. So I think there's going to be a tyre issue in the race in the last heat, the final race. So let's hope for the best. And I think if the car stays pretty much the same, because it's loose from the beginning and it stays consistent throughout the race. It's just loose, no grip. But I think we can manage that, and if it stays like that for the 16-lap race, I think we got a chance.
Dev, it's taken you a while to get here, a lot of development and a lot of hard work in the pits and in the workshop, but finally the Magon has come to the front.
Really, like you say, dude, it's been one of those unorganized test sessions for the past 7 months. Eventually we've gotten our first win. Yes, as it came with a hard ride. Jockey was quick, had to defend a bit, but it was an awesome race. Just like to say thanks to all my sponsors, Luke Molly, Big Boss Auto, Renault. They've delivered an absolutely awesome car for the weekend, and I'm sure we're going to have a decent race in race 3.
Jeez, Gav, it's just getting gnarlier and gnarlier out there. It's certainly tense down here in the third round.
Yeah, the start it seemed like there were a few people hot under the collar. Going into turn 1, they're running the first turn on the yellow, so, you know, it's kind of a single file concept to just get everyone through the turn 1. And, yeah, I got milk from behind. I don't need to mention any names. He knows who he is, and sure, I mean, he did damage to my car, which ultimately eventually paid sadly to his teammate, where my damage collected him. So yeah, a bit of a disastrous, good result in the end though. I'm happy because we're taking points.
Points is a premium, and that's what's coming up. Race number 3, our feature race. Don't go far. Bridgestone Production Car Racing next.
Welcome back to Bridgestone Production Cars Classes A and T from round number 3 at Aldo Scribante. Port Elizabeth is where we are at, and we're about to go into the feature race. Double points up for grabs. This is where it all counts. The first races were important, yes, but this is where you're going to win a championship. On the day, Michael Stephen has taken the first win. His teammate, Chop Sapuka, taking the second victory. But this is where it all really comes to a head, Steve. Double points, and we always see a different format, different feel on the grid as well. Some tension out there.
There will be, and there'll be a lot of recriminations going on because a lot of the drivers felt that there was a bit of argy-bargy, but we'll have to wait and see. You know, these guys are sensible. They would have had drivers' briefings saying, this are the rules, we want clean racing. You know what, it's all very well saying clean racing, but when you're out there, it's a different kettle of fish.
Yeah, coming in off the second heat, Gennaro Bonafide feeling very hard done to by the move of Chop Sapuka, but it was deemed that it wasn't out of order, and everyone is back in the mix. Graham Nathan also suffering problems on his Indy Oil GTI is back, and he says it is firing good now.
Notice how Michael Stephen has been suffering from severe migraines, and will this be an issue?
It will be. I mean, it's definitely going to come in. Some problems in a longer race always put more strain on the body.
BMW versus the Audis at the moment. Magon versus the Chevrolet Cruze. The Fords haven't had their own way for Malta. Wow, the car hasn't delivered what we thought it might.
Rolling start once again then, and here we go. Michael Stephen, the king of controlling, getting off the line. Melville Priest has been left in his dust, which means Melville Priest is going to come under fire straight away from Chop Sapuka.
Wow, Chop's got the hammer down. Could this be a 1 and 2? Early days, I know.
Melville just sweeping around the outside, so incredibly there is line and there is traction, if you've got your car set up right, to sweep around the outside, and that's how good Melville has been. He said his car has not put a foot wrong all day.
Well, I agree with you, Matt. I think that he's going to be really happy with the points that he's scoring. His consistency is very good at the moment.
And look at Lee Thompson. He's having some huge problems there. So we're talking about him trying to bounce back from his bad two first opening rounds of the season. It doesn't look like it's going to go that way. He is going to finish. He is going to score points, but it's not going to be the points that he wants.
At the moment, I mean, I'm looking at Chopsapurka, Matt. He's having a blinder.
He is. I mean, he loves to drive aggressive, but his whole driving style, his whole setup on his car, and how he attacks a race is based upon this track. This is where he is the most comfortable.
And Graham Nathan, I mean, we haven't mentioned a lot of him or his car the whole time. It's not the Graham Nathan show this time.
No, he's had some bad problems on the car, but this is where you can turn your day around. Those double points can put you back into the mix all of a sudden.
And the ambient track temperatures. I mean, it's been a stunning day at Aldo Scribante, and the fans have come out in their droves once again. Great racing, great support.
Bridgestone tyres holding up quite nicely as well. They are asked the most of at this track as well, Steve, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. This is the most abrasive track on our tour. Also, right now, focusing back. Look at this, 4 Audis back-to-back.
Well, this is the story. I mean, we know that they can survive on less grip because of the all-wheel drive system. We go back and pick up on Gavin Cronier now, who is looking for a good day and a bad day. Jacques Joubert pulling out of this one. So, obviously, the damage when he collected that exhaust pipe across the line at the end of race 2 has caused him to pop on the side.
If that's the case, Matt, I mean, surely they would have had time between the ending of race number 2 and the main theme piece to sort our problem out.
Yeah, there is time, but you never quite know if you've done everything. You know, when he came in after the first race, there was a pool of oil coming out of the Indy Oil GTI. So they fixed some things, but maybe don't pick up on actually everything under the car.
Henrik Grunewald, we're on board with in the Sassel Subaru WRX STI, and Team Sassel have not had a great day.
No, unfortunately, and also look how he's getting dropped down the straight. Normally the Subaru in a straight line can match the BMW, so they've got a problem down here at the Coastal Circuit.
Well, last year, I mean, they won overall in this race. I've seen Henrik Grunewald win 4 races back-to-back here. They've always had a strong showing here in PE.
Yeah, I'm going to have to play the old development year card on you again here, Steve. It is a new car. It's a new format for the whole team, so they are figuring things out, and they're going to have to just learn as they go along. I expect to see them come good at Swartkops.
Essentially, it's the same motor, though.
It is the same motor, but it's a completely different setup on the car, which means power comes in at different times.
Aerodynamics, you know, I mean, they've always complained about their DNA of their aerodynamics, saying that they were slower in a straight line than everybody else. We all went, yes, of course you are.
The good thing is he is hanging tough. He is hanging right in there, and, you know, his mid-corner speed is really setting up some good moves here, but he is getting hurt down the straights.
Well, we've spoken enough about Henrik Grunewald, just in case we don't see him again.
Yes, we go back to the war that is happening out front. Here we go. Johan Fourie on the left. We go on board with Gennaro Bonafide. Look at the straight line power of the BMW, but we know the back sector of the track, starting with turn number 1, is where we're heading now. That is where it is all going to be happening.
Do you think it's all changing? I mean, we've spoken about data and what cars we think they're doing on back straights at various tracks. It seems all to be changing. Cars that used to be strong in one aspect are not as strong as what they are now.
Yeah, I mean, the story is the BMWs were so strong at round number 2, which of course is Cape Town, another coastal track. But the format and the way that this track is made up, it's very tight. It's all about getting out of corners and carrying mid-corner speed. And you can see the BMWs have had not a power issue, a handling issue today.
Chopsapurka is in the mix again. Johan Fourie is looking for more points. Oh, Bonafide down the inside. Oh, he gets some squirrely. That's going to hurt him big time.
Yeah, that was a big straight line shove in the middle of the corner. Bonafide looked like he changed his line. And, yeah, he's trying to make his way through to the front. He's going to have to get physical. And, unfortunately, this is the way, or fortunately, actually, for us, because it's entertaining, this is the way the racing has gone. It does get physical, especially in this race. There's a lot up for grabs. I'm going to say it like a broken record. Double points, Steve.
No, I hear you. I absolutely hear you. And consistency is key as well. But I get the feeling out there's a few recriminations on their way.
Well, look what's coming as well. Chopsapurka and Gennaro Bonafide. They've been brought back together into the mix once again. Because out front, it's all about Michael Stephen and Melville Priest.
7:16 and heading to halfway through this race. Where do you see it going?
Well, I see it going maybe the way of Gavin Cronier. He said he's got the setup and he's got his car dialed in specifically for this longer race. Yes, it worked in the shorter races, but if he's got his setup right, then we're going to see the Mini come through and take a ton of points.
So what you were saying, really, his focus from the get-go was just really on the theme piece.
Yeah, he made no bones about that. He said, we're here for the big race. If we get some scraps in the first two, he'll take it, and he has.
Surprise of the day? Devin Robertson, no doubt.
Yeah, I think the team will be definitely boosted. You know, it makes it all worthwhile when you can come across the line and take that victory. And coming into this final race, he will just be filled with confidence.
Disappointment of the day, a toss-up maybe between the GTIs and the Fords?
Yeah, I mean, the strongest teams of last season, and at this round, some real big problems. But it's all going to turn around because Graham Nathan is in survival mode. He is out there leading the Class T double points race. He's got a chance to claw a lot back.
All right, so Stephen, with his set of migraines that he's had to endure most of the day, it can't be easy to really be driving that car and concentrating. But one of the surprises has been the consistency of Melville Priest here at Aldo Scribante.
I would just love to see him take a victory. I know we're supposed to sit on the fence, but the way he's driven and the way he's held himself and what the team have given him to perform with at this round really deserve a victory.
And also, there's the maturity. I mean, he's grown in stature.
Thank you for handing me over to that one. This is what is going to be the story of the second half of this race. Gennaro Bonafide, door-to-door with Chopsapuka. Now, these cars are almost equally matched, but once again, Gennaro trying to sweep around the outside. You simply cannot pass around the outside of this track. It just can't happen.
Maybe so, but I still think there's action and plenty to come.
Look at the BMW. That's Van der Linde.
Oh!
Oh, that was a big hit. That really was a bit... I'm not quite sure what he was trying to do as well. He has the top end speed. He's trying to run in as late as he possibly can and sweep around the outside. Now, we know the back end of that BM at this track is being loose and tail happy. We've seen Melville Priest pass around the outside there, but the BM, no way. I mean, it looks like he just missed his braking marker completely and then turned into Bonafide.
Wow, that's just incredible, and Bonafide wasn't taken out. Free must be going, that's my boy.
I'll tell you what, look at the left rearview mirror, and Bonafide is going to be in trouble from now on because his front left tyre was turned at the time, which means the wheel took a hit.
Do you think that might have been a braking problem?
Yeah, definitely a braking problem, and perhaps just a situation of trying to work on your advantages. The BMs still have power, they still have straight line speed, so you've got to try and pass deep into the corner.
Up to Dunlop it is,
and it is a Mini going pop, that's what it is, and that's oil on the windscreen. So that, unfortunately, was one of the Minis. We're trying to get confirmation of which one it was, but something went pop. It's Gavin Cronier from the position on the track. Gavin Cronier, so the man who was looking to take a ton of points and set his car up specifically for the long race is going to be limping around, and that smoke is...
it's in the cockpit.
It doesn't bode well. It doesn't bode well for him finishing this race, put it that way.
I don't think he's going to pull off. He can't see. I mean, he's got smoke in that cockpit. Right now, final lap, race 3. It's Audi. Melville Priest versus Michael Stephen.
And Priest is the faster. He's proven that by being on the bumper, trying to make passes the whole way around this track. Michael Stephen, look at the tyre wear. They are really, really battling in this endurance-style race. The feature race. It tests everything on the car and the driver, and Stephen will not be passed. He is covering lines all over the place.
Yeah, well, as you do. I mean, he can't drive over him, that's just one thing. But this is going to be an outstanding day for Team Engine Extreme. A great win for Michael Stephen.
And a firm grip on the championship coming out of this round if things stay the way they were. But a good solid day for Melville Priest, and that's going to set him up so he can come up in the championship as well. And when we head to round number 4, Priest is going to be one to watch out for wins.
Be interesting to see. I mean, we've had 2 coastal regions, but we'll talk about that just now. But here's the story. Team GTI, Indy Oil, Graham Nathan, back.
And at the right time, and look at Devin Robertson. He was running in second place. He's had a problem in the last turn.
He's stopping.
And that's the Mini of Thompson coming through to get a ton of points with the second place. The Chevy is going to cross the line as well. But yeah, the big story here, the big show. Nathan gets his victory after a terrible first 2 sprint races.
Let's get confirmation. How exciting. Michael Stephen, Melville Priest, Chopsapuka, Johan Fari.
And Fari takes back his 4th place after Gennaro Bonafide gets bumped down for that incident in the hairpin.
Confirmation of the race 3 results for Class T, and this was going to be interesting, as it was. Graham Nathan gets his win, as you said. Lee Thompson, Michael Van Rooyen in the Cruise, Devin Robertson.
Mikey, just the ideal day, and to do it on your home circuit, that's really set up and extended your championship massively.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic day. You know, big thanks to all the sponsors. Engine Extreme, Audi, Cherry Moss Racing, Sogo-san, everyone who makes it possible, the guys at the workshop, who put in the effort, Terry himself, and it was an absolutely brilliant day. Came home with a big haul of points, so yeah, looking good for the championship.
Quite honestly, could you have gone any faster? It looked like you were under pressure for a few of those laps. Mel was definitely coming on, probably mid-race, but you were able to hold him back.
Yeah, Melville was really quick. I really had to work hard. I think he had a bit more pace towards the end, but I had a wide car and managed to bring it home to the end.
Mel, was that second place the best you could do, or was there just no way to get through?
Yeah, we knew that we had to look after the tyres because it's a long race. It's very, very abrasive, the circuit. So we decided the first few laps to look after our tyres, just hold station, and then the last 5 laps go for the big push. But I think we left it just a touch late. 5 laps from the end, the tyres were a bit too off, and we battled a bit to make that final push. We were right on him for a few laps, but there just wasn't enough grip.
Nate, it's funny how these days can turn around, isn't it?
Awesome turnaround. Great job on my team. They just tucked in, never stopped trying. India Oil came out on top. Thank you very much to the sponsor. Thank you to Volkswagen in their hometown. This one's to all the guys at the plant who work feverishly keeping these products out there. Great job. Yeah, the work finally came to fruition. The last race, the feature race, that's a right on to win, and we did it.
Dev, coming off your first victory, and then it looked like you were going to be on for another great podium, all of a sudden coming out the final corner, nothing.
Yeah, Matt, unfortunately we had to run a bearing. I could hear it from 4 laps from the end. Lee started pressurizing. I was changing earlier, and then I came out of Chevy. No, he held it just too long on the nose and came into the last corner. Cried enough. So
I saw the Mini climbing the curbs to get out the way as well. You must have just stopped out of nowhere.
Yeah, it lost all power because the engine jammed, and I couldn't see where Lee was, so I just stayed in the middle. He rode the grass. Fortunately, it wasn't an accident, but like I say, thanks to all the sponsors that made it all possible for the weekend, Liquimole, Ferrodo, Big Boss Auto, and Reynolds for absolutely great car.
Let's have a look at the championship point standings as we sit, and it could change in a race as we've seen. Michael Stephen heads it out. Johan Ferrari, Chop Sapuka, Melville Priest, Henny Grunewald.
Love how tight this is all looking. Look at the Class T's as well. Halfway through the day, Graham Nathan lost the championship lead, and after that win in the feature race, takes it back, leads ahead of Gavin Cronier.
Manufacturers' points. Goes without saying there's more Audis out there. 246, Volkswagen, BMW, then Subaru.
So on the day in the Class A's, it was all about one team and one team alone. Engine Extreme Audis. Michael Stephen taking races 1 and 3, and Chop Sapuka, his teammate, takes race 2.
In Class T, it was a bit of a mixed bag for the manufacturers because they were all in the mix, but what a turn-up. Winner, race 1, Michael van Rooyen. Winner, race 2, Devin Robinson. And winner, race 3, the big show, Graham Nathan. For more information, log on to www.spcc.co.za. That brings us to the end of round 3 at Aldo, Scribante, Port Elizabeth. There was lots of bumping and barging between Class A cars, and Class T had no shortage of action. Michael Stephen has extended his lead over Johan Free, and the gap between 2nd, 3rd and 4th is only a few points. Melville can go home with a smile on his face as he climbed from 7th in the championship to 4th, bagging himself 32 points from the weekend, but full marks needs to go to the hometown Engine Extreme Audis, who took a clean sweep. Pole position for Stephen and victories in race 1 and 3, with Chops taking his 2nd win for the season in race 2 to the jubilant celebration of his fans. Class T showed another win for the Williams Hunt Chevrolet team, who seem to be on a roll right now, taking home the most points for the round. Robertson took a well-deserved maiden victory behind the wheel of the Renault Megane, and Nathan recovered from a disastrous start by taking full honours in the feature race. With 5 different manufacturers in the top 6 spots, the championship is still open to anyone. It's early days yet, as we're only a third of the way through the season. We wish Sean Duminy a speedy recovery and look forward to seeing him back behind the wheel of the brand new Castrol Ford Focus ST. Our next round goes inland to the Pretoria West track of Swartkops. Motorsport is all about the fans, and I look forward to seeing you there. Until next time, I'm Steve Bishop with Matt Smith. This is World Class Racing, Bridgestone Production Cars.